Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. This video will have to do with the unions and specifically the UAW Union. How do we get information? How do we learn? Well, we learn by listening to others, watching others, reading, direct experience. Maybe there are some other ways too, but these are the main ones. Remember, you have lecturers, you have the professors, you have your parents first, so you listen to them, right? The other one, you experience things. You go and rub shoulders with certain kind of people and you know about those kind of people, who they are. And that could contradict what, for instance, you read in books, newspaper, or watch TV, or watch and listen to your lecturers. Now, which of all these is the most important way of learning? Well, they're all important. They are all important. But I think direct experience is the direct experience, which is practice makes perfect. Correct? You can get information and say that this is the way it is, this is the way it is. But then when you go in the world and experience it firsthand, knowing things about it, you can't deny that this exact thing happened to me right there. So I'm going to tell you my direct experience with UAW unions in the state of Michigan. I don't like to talk about personal things too much, but I will talk about one particular employment place that I was frequenting. In this way, in this video, I will discuss this little thing that came to my property. All right? And I saw, okay, right there, UAV, blah, 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 Ford. And this is September 2024. UAV endorses Kamala Harris for president. She walked the line. That means the script. So I worked in one of my jobs for the state of Michigan. I worked as an investigator. And I was part of the union, even though I got out of the union at one point. And I got back in to understand, to learn. So I went to the union meetings. That was the only goal. Let's go to the union meetings and learn. First experience, direct experience. Not the ones that the guy give you in the days or newspapers or I went over there. I understand. This was a low level. UAW was a low level in my job that I was doing. But I can tell you what I learned. So first, this UAW is the ones that I rub shoulders with, mostly were incompetent. Incompetent in communicating, incompetent in even fighting for your own supposed rights inside the whatever job you had. So that was the first observation in the meetings, and people, they will have grievances, right? So you understand, hey, this person who's supposed to defend this other person, not good. Well, my first and foremost issue with the UAW in the state of Michigan was you don't have the most important or the only ace you have it as a union. You know what it is? The right or the capability to strike. That is your main ace, to strike. How do you think, if you read the history of the unions, I've been urged to read it because I made this claim and a baboon said, "Oh, you should read the history." Well, I know how things got better for the worker. That is through strikes. Mainly through strikes. If you don't strike, what are you going to have? And I've been told by a smarter than others, a union representative who's high up, that we have soft power. Like what? Going and drinking with guys who are supposed to keep their feet to fire? Exactly. He was telling me about the soft power, but he couldn't identify the soft power. And I said, no. Let's don't do mental gymnastics here. You don't have the main power, which is, and the only one, the capability to strike. Why? Because it's illegal for a state-operated business like the state of Michigan, to strike. You can't. It's illegal. So therefore you don't have that big ace. So how are you going to make these guys keep their feet to the fire? He didn't have an answer. He kept saying soft power. I know what soft power is, and if that's the only one you got, then we guys are in big, big trouble. What I understood out of that connection, it was relationships between the guys, between the foxes and the chicken, basically. In your name. So when I see this UAW coming over and telling me about Kamala Harris, and I said, what do you mean you endorse her? Or endorse, it was about the other endorsement. What do you mean endorse? How can you make us, the union members who pay fees for nothing, actually? Well, there are some perks over there, but anyway. What do you mean you endorse her? And then you tell us to vote for that because that person fights for our interest? That's garbage. I challenge them over and over to political discussions. They were not good. And they were always speaking like in generalities. Change, hope, the right thing, good and evil. But they will not mention, okay, these are just words. Now let's talk about them. No, because they had the words and they were not challenged among their baboons. So this is my experience with the UAW in Michigan. If you don't have the power, the real power to strike, bye-bye. Now what can these guys do? Let's say you're a private company and you strike. No, these guys can fire you. Not even that. In the old days, you strike, go off. Hire another one if you could. Nowadays you can't. And I'm not against unions. I think this particular one in the state of Michigan is a joke. Not in Ford, private company, the only one. I admire very much Henry Ford the First for my own reasons and for his own writings, all right, if you want. So yeah, that's a different story. You do what? You tell everybody's going to vote like a ship? Bah. Exactly. As I said, unions were necessary, were helpful, still are, but I think they lost their way. They're in the cahoots with the fox. And not only, you can't strike, but use soft power. It's like, I didn't understand what's going on. Like, for instance, when you read the Bible, and you say, wait a minute, it says here that. You don't understand. It's things that we don't understand. Something revealed to some goat herders in the desert, illiterate goat herders in the desert? Yeah, because it comes from, you have to have spirit, har, in Romania, har, to understand. And if you don't practice, you don't understand it. And the priest will explain to you that is like gymnastics that these guys were doing UAW with me with the soft power. Well, this is just a sharing moment. It's not probably, maybe you are a union member, maybe you are, I don't know, something in the union. Good for you. Do the right thing. Do the right thing for humanity. Do the right thing for the workers. And remember, those guys in charge, not necessarily, the business owners, are not, the devil incarnated. Some of them are. So are some union representatives. I met some. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, not really devil incarnated, but no principles. Or principles, but in reality, soft power. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.